Live from the International Debate Research Podcast Facility in lovely, livable Rocky Point, New York, this is In the Bin. In the Bin is your one-stop shop for news and views on rhetoric, debate, argumentation, discourse. Heard worldwide, made with New York pride. I am Dr. Steve Yano. Welcome to In the Bin. In the Bin's available on YouTube, where we're doing a video now. It's available on Spotify. It's available on iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcasts, pretty much anywhere and everywhere. Fine podcasts are available. And folks, you can reach out to us. We have it here on the screen. inthebinpodcast@gmail.com. And you never have to do this, but if you like what's going on the show, consider financially supporting us at buymeacoffee.com. In the Bin Podcast. Hello. Let's turn on the studio lights here. Get the studio lights going. And welcome to a whole new era of astounding visual pleasure for you. Get to look at me for the next 35 minutes or so. Of course, you don't have to watch the video podcast. I just thought I'd do it. Spotify is hounding me for it. YouTube is hounding me for it. And I feel like I could probably double dip. I think I can post this as a podcast, post it as a YouTube video. But anyway, welcome to the program, Dr. Steve Yano. Welcome. A lot of stuff I want to talk about tonight. I even made a PowerPoint. I thought it'd be appropriate to do that. I chose as the background one of our fine St. John's University classrooms. Yes. Fine. It's definitely, you can definitely see that no expense was spared for this incredible institution where I've worked for maybe 17 years now. Summer's here. Did all my grades, so I'm very happy about it being summer. I'm very happy about being ready to do some work. I'm going to work on YouTube, maybe do some more YouTube videos. I particularly like the fact that I have so many Trump bot accounts or Trump Pro account. I can't tell if these are real or not. Maybe the comments will reveal something down there. I think they're all waiting to strike. But for now, I'm just going to do the weekly podcast and post it on the YouTube channel and on Spotify and iHeartRadio and all that stuff. And I think it'll be good. Very, very good. But I look forward to all of your comments and suggestions for what to do with the video and see what you feel about the PowerPoint and all that. We do have a live studio audience here tonight. Yep, that is my little sleepy dog. There's my little sleepy dog there, enjoying being here in the study and hanging out with me while I talk to you. First things first, though, I think I posted about this a little bit on social media, but if you don't follow me on the socials, you probably don't know about it. But about a couple of months ago, Brady Fletcher reached out to me. He was the debate director at the University of Rochester, and said, hey, we're putting together a surprise party for Sam Nelson. Sam Nelson, if you don't know, maybe you're involved in the debate world, but he's the most outstanding and innovative debate educator that I know of. His MO, the way he runs things, is he gets debate to the people who need it, not so they can win a national championship or something, although he's done that quite a bit with people, but to improve their lives, improve the quality of their lives, and therefore improve the quality of the lives that they touch. And I said, yeah, I'm in on a surprise party for Sam. That's great. Now, Sam and I see each other all the time. I have some videos here on the channel, on the YouTube channel, if you're watching, of Sam and I hanging out at Cornell. He always has me up at Cornell twice a year to give a lecture on the history of rhetoric. Those videos are also available on the channel. If you want to watch me lecture to a bunch of Cornell students about the history of rhetoric, always a good time. Maybe it's better. Maybe it's not a laugh riot. Maybe it's better if you suffer from a little insomnia. Might be a good solution for that. But I was all in, and then to go to this surprise celebration was wild. Got to go back up to Rochester. I haven't been in years. Got to see people I haven't talked to in person in years and years and years, and hang out and kind of explore some of the old days. But Sam was super surprised. All of his old students were there from the 90s all the way up until just a few years ago from the University of Rochester, where he founded and directed that program for many years without pay. and just a real somebody to admire, but for me, somebody to emulate. And I tried my best, but still haven't mastered that do it without pay part. That's it's a little tough, but currently not directing a debate program. I do miss doing it. I miss the payoff you get from that. But we will talk in a future episode about debate educator and debate coach. I have a PowerPoint for that too, but we're not going to do that this episode. We're going to focus on this. So I want to kind of look at, let's see if we can show some pictures. So what happened was we showed up the night at a restaurant, and Sam was told he was going to have dinner with like 4 or 5 people. And we came into a room, and there's 50 people in there, all of his old students from years and years ago, from 91, I think, all the way to, the 2000s when he left the U of R for Cornell University. Let's take a look at maybe some of these photos. So here's a good photo. This is, we'll start with the person I don't really know too well, which I think this is Laura, who's an alum debater. Back here, this is Teresa. That was somebody who I helped teach as part of the collective of many different debate coaches. Over here, this is Liz. And Liz was a student when I was in 2001 when I went up to Rochester. So my story here, this is Sam here. I'm going to put the mouse where you can actually see it. Well, maybe you can't see it. I don't know. Can you see it? I wish I had a pointer. I wish I had a laser pointer or something that could. Oh, there we go. Now you can see. This is Sam. So here's Liz. This is Laura, I think her name is. I hope I'm getting that right. Teresa's over here. And this was late 2000s. I think Laura's earlier in the 90s. And this is Sam Nelson. This is me, of course. And this is Gordy Miller, who taught at the University of Rochester as a coach for many years. I can't remember what years he was there, but I overlapped with him and interacted with him quite a bit. He came to visit quite a bit. Sarah Green, who I worked with directly from 2001 to 2002. And now she is in North Carolina. And yeah, it was just a big surprise. All these people coming back from the past really shocked him. I went there in 2001. Sam hired me over the phone. I was an unproven person, unproven quantity, but he brought me on board and really gave me the life that I have. I'm speaking to you right now on this podcast from this perspective as a rhetoric professor from the St. John's classroom here. All because of Sam's faith, really. Faith in me. He didn't have to. He could have told me to buzz off when I applied for the job. But the way it happened was I was trying to start a debate program at Texas A&M University, which, yes, Gigamags. I was trying to do that after I lost my job, or I quit my job as a high school debate coach at A&M Consolidated High School in College Station, Texas. And I quit because, administrators, bro. Administrators are always the problem. School administrators. That you get rid of school administrators, schools would just take off. They are always the problem. They're always creating problems, and they call it their job. Maybe it is their job to create problems. I don't know. But anyway, they were terrible. Terrible, terrible people running that school. Hopefully they retired or have moved on to greener pastures. There's some nasty people there, too. It was kind of a nasty experience working at AM Consolidated, to be honest. I was glad to leave. And then, I got contacted by Ken Johnson, who was the assistant director at the time, say, hey, come on up. Come on up and work at the University of Rochester with us. And, yeah, it was great. Great. So I was there from 2001, 2002. Sam here was like, hey, you need to get a master's degree. He got me a shot at Syracuse University, and then from there I went to the University of Pittsburgh, got a Ph.D. From there to St. John's, been at St. John's 17 years. This was a long time ago. Okay, so this is Ken here, Ken Johnson, lives in Boise, Idaho. Sarah again, and me, and we're all hanging out. This is the 2001-2002 coaching. We won the national NDT sweepstakes that year, so pretty good coaching contingent. We worked really well together. I remember, one of the things I remember very clearly, I should have said this in my speech. I don't know. I probably should have had some notes or something, I'm a teacher of public speaking and oratory and rhetoric. I probably should have had a little bit more preparation. But the thing about this is we worked so well together. Sarah was just really an assassin, like an amazing argument identifier, evidence finder. Ken was the big theory, left-wing theory, leftist theory guru, the ability to kind of talk everybody through what they're going to say and have this large theoretical perspective. And then what I was good at was just kind of teaching the basics. I think I kind of came in and taught the basics and provided that. I was like pouring the concrete for these architects, really, and designers. And yeah, Liz reminded me of that. She gave her speech to Sam at that, and was like, yeah, I spent 3 hours with Yano and my roommate learning about debate. I'm like, yeah, that did happen. I remember that quite vividly, sitting in that classroom for hours, going over and over and over everything. But, they're smart, so they got it. And it was policy debate at that time. CETA, that was the only game in town. We didn't have all these different formats like we do today, all these different options, and now people are pushing for public forum at the college level. NFA-LD was around, CETA and NDT, and that's about it, really. Oh, NPDA. But NPDA never has, I don't know why that is, it never came any further east than Ohio. I don't even think it made it to Ohio. If somebody could fact check me on that, that'd be great. NPDA stayed a mostly southern and western, maybe not even the southeast. NPDA in Florida, Georgia, that doesn't sound right. That's still pretty much CETA holdout. And APTA was the northeast, and APTA has always been the northeast, but APTA doesn't recruit. You kind of have to find APTA and go to their meets, and that's about it. But yeah, here we are. Here we are, the 2001-2002 debate coaching team. I loved working with these people. And Sam would always bring in these random students and be like, hey, I saw these guys eating pizza in the pit, which is kind of where the students eat, like the fast food place. You teach them how to debate, and if they don't break this weekend, I'm going to fire you. And this was like Sam's motivating speech to me. Then he started calling me Annie Sullivan. He's like, wow, you got those students up really quick. You're like Annie Sullivan. So I don't know where you stand on whether Helen Keller is real. Toasty. I believe Helen Keller was real. Toasty. I know that's a controversy for Gen Z folks, but whatever. Anyway, a couple of photos from the weekend. Really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. Let's see what else I have here in terms of good photos from the weekend. Good time. I got one last photo to show you, and then we'll get into the serious stuff. That's me and Sam. What a great photo of the two of us. Actually, he looks really good with my like derpy expression, my hair flying in my face in the wind. But that was right before he left to go home. I was like, hope you had a good time. Good to see you. Da-da-da. But it was great watching him interact with people he hadn't talked to in like 20, 30 years. Amazing. Amazing time. Definitely well-deserved. Definitely a great surprise. Well done, University of Rochester. Well done, University of Rochester alums. Fantastic celebration for a great educator, Sam Nelson. Yes. Very good. Well, I was shocked today to find that my old friend C-SPAN, I love C-SPAN. Give it up for C-SPAN. I love C-SPAN. C-SPAN stop clapping. C-SPAN has turned on me. Yeah, that's right. They've turned on all of us who love debate. I could not believe this email. I'm going to go through it with you. We'll read this email together. C-SPAN ceasefire coming this fall. We're excited to bring you a special announcement. Let's make this bigger. Can I make this bigger? Let's see. Yeah. We're excited to bring you inside for a special announcement to share your support, how moving something meaningful forward. Because you believe in civil discourse and the power of public address, absolutely. I'm a rhetorician, I'm a sophist. We're proud to introduce Ceasefire, a bold new weekly series created to open doors, foster transparency, and bring people together through honest, respectful conversation. This new series builds on C-SPAN's longstanding commitment to public service by creating a space for something that's often missing from political life today. Real, respectful dialogue. Okay, here we go. You know what's coming next when people use the D word, dialogue, is that we need an alternative from communication failure. And what is communication failure? Communication failure is often the things that I love, argument and debate. Each week, leaders from across the political spectrum sit down not to debate, but to talk. Oh, God. No viral zingers, no shouting matches. Okay, this is an incredibly poor, corrupt, nobody supports this model of debate. No scholar does. No writer does. Nobody who researches and teaches debate or coaches debate or teaches debate at any level would associate debate with viral zingers and shouting matches. C-SPAN did not do any research here. You know what they're referring to here? The presidential debates, which is not a model of debate. Presidential debates, Sidney Krause said it best. Well, Sidney Krause said it second best. Here's my two favorite. Okay, here we go. Two favorite presidential debate quotes. Right, you can take these to the bank, baby. Sidney Krause said that they are joint press conferences, which is the journalist just asks a question and both of them answer it. So it's like having a presidential candidate press conference, but both the candidates are there at the same time. So it's not a debate at all. There's no topic, no shared topic, no evidence rules, no firm time limits, no direct questioning of each other. There's nothing debate about it. So obviously, you wouldn't want the presidential debates to serve as your model of debate. There are plenty of models of debate in the scholarship. Whoops, what happened to the picture? Oh, man, little technical difficulties there, folks. It's going to happen since we're kind of new to video here. There's nothing about debate. This isn't debate. Just two people with different perspectives showing up to listen and maybe to understand. Now, that's a model of debate. But the thing about debate that people miss is really good debate. Those perspectives are assigned. Switch side debating. And that way, you're not representing something you deeply care about. You're representing something that you feel like is representable. It's a lot more like being an attorney or something, where you're like, okay, I'm going to advocate for my client as best I can. And that's kind of the way you think about debate, and that's the best way that we teach debate, because debate teaches these civil engagement skills to where you can engage with somebody about something really important because you have had practice in formulating arguments for audiences that move people. We're sharing this with you as it happens, just moments after our CEO, Sam Feist, introduced ceasefire for the first time during his commencement speech at Georgetown University's McCourt School of Public Policy. Okay. Commencement speeches are really derivative, to be honest. Like, what happens in a commencement speech that would be changing? It's not about you, Sam Feist. It's not about C-SPAN. It's about the graduates. They're really derivative and epideictic, so it's weird that this would happen. Maybe this guy's trying to get a seat on the Commission on Presidential Debates Board. Very much like how the president of Notre Dame College, I forget his name, he got invited to the Presidential Debate Board when he gave a speech being like, people are mad at each other and yelling. That's not civic discourse. And they're like, wow, so brilliant. I mean, it's dumb. There's thousands of pages on this stuff that you can access and engage. C-SPAN chose not to do any research here when they formed this thing. No model of debate, no model of argument. No definition of argument, no definition of debate. What they're doing fits very well into a definition of debate. They're saying having particular ground rules will make the investigation better. It will make the engagement better. And that's what anyone who teaches debate, rhetoric, and argumentation like me would support. In his remarks, Sam urged the class of 2025 to make it their mission to seek out those they disagree with, not to debate, but to understand. Okay, what is the difference here? Debate is the opposite of understanding, is what C-SPAN is saying. That's foolish. That's absurd. It's bankrupt. And it's not, there's absolutely no one who teaches, coaches, no debate educator in the world, nobody who coaches debate, nobody who teaches debate. This is insulting to every high school and junior high teacher, every junior college professor, every university professor who has spent most of their career teaching people debate. It's just unreal that an organization as solid as C-SPAN could make these kind of sophomoric errors. It's jaw-dropping. And to turn respectful dialogue into lasting policy change. So respectful dialogue is a different thing than debate. I don't get it. Okay, so Sam, Sam Feist, if that's how you say your name. Sam Feist, what's your model of dialogue? Which dialogue theorists are you relying on here? And what model of debate do you not like? I bet he doesn't have any idea. I bet he has no clue what he's talking about. Ceasefire is a reflection of this vision, a new series where political leaders from opposing sides come together to listen, to find common ground, and show the country what's still possible when we choose conversation over conflict. Okay, these leaders could have done this on their own. These leaders are going to use this as an opportunity to push their vision. That's all that's going to happen. That's all that's going to happen. And then, of course, the New York Times is behind it, the spineless New York Times that really has nothing to say. And then they want me to donate to it. Sorry, I'm not going to donate to that crap. If you actually had a real debate show with debate educators advising it, I would support that. If you had a show that forwarded the value of debate as a discourse, I would watch that. But the problem with civic discourse in the country, if you think there's a problem, some people don't think there's a problem. Some people think that we're undergoing a great corrective in truth or something like that. If you think there's a problem in public discourse, I thought the studio audience is acting up there. No, she's just chilling. Studio audience is chilling. If you thought there's a problem in public discourse, the problem comes from bad debate, not debate itself. Bad models of debate. Do you see how incredibly bankrupt and vapid that is? No, there are so many books about debate. Not one of them would say debate is awesome because it's about name calling and clashing with people to be mean and to shout and to create viral ziggers. Not one research piece, not one book, not one article about debate celebrates any of this, any of it. Not one. But this is the trend, isn't it? This is the trend, isn't it? The trend is debate is bad. Let's remove debate from the world. Another good one along these lines. Braver Angels, organization that I absolutely despise. Braver Angels is, they say building a house united. Yeah, united around what? United around a model of politics that's comfortable for them. Percentage of Americans who trust the government to do what is right. 1963, 77, 2022, 20. You know, I'm comfortable with that. I think we should be highly skeptical of the government. Like, the government's not going to do what's right. The people will do what's right. But if we're not trusting the government to do what's right, we need to argue with each other, have debates with each other to figure out what's the thing that's the most persuasive to do. Bringing Americans together to bridge the partisan divide and strengthen our democratic republic. I don't understand how this is a mission statement at all. How about teach people how to debate based on evidence and adapt their reasoning to diverse audiences? That would be a mission statement. But bringing Americans together to bridge the partisan divide. This to me, and I mean, maybe I'm not being fair to Braver Angels, but they can let me know if I'm not. I'm happy to engage with them on their weird project. Bringing Americans together to bridge the partisan divide. Sounds to me like we need to be more friendly and stop arguing. And I think that's really what they want. The Braver Angels rule. We're guided by the rule that red and blue leaders, okay, that's dystopian. Red and blue. Stop saying red and, they just say red and blue all the time like we're in that movie. Do you guys know that old movie, Moon Over Parador? This is a great film, but they make fun of the two-party system by being like red party, blue party in this fictional Latin American republic called Parador. It's a very funny movie, but these people take it seriously. They're really calling it red and blue leaders. This is stupid. Why not say Republican Democrat? I don't understand. Red and blue leaders are equally represented at every level of organizational guidance. How about kicking them out and getting some people in who understand how discourse works or how argument works? Our organization reflective of the country we seek to serve. How about reflective of the country you'd like to build? Is that like too hard to do, Braver Angels? These angels are not brave at all. These angels are complacent angels is what the organization should be called. As individuals, we try to understand the other side's point of view, even if we do not agree with it. Okay, this is like Very important. This is the best kind of teaching of debate and argumentation and rhetoric that we have, is all aimed at this. But there's thousands of years of study on that one sentence and how to do it. From the ancient Romans, ancient Greeks, ancient India, ancient China, and then all the modern writers, early modern, medieval, early modern, 18th, 19th, 20th century. I bet the Braver Angels founders have not read one page of any of this historical theory. So they don't know what they're doing. We try to understand the other side's point of view, but and also no reference here to any kind of hermeneutic tradition at all. Understanding has a long tradition of how that should work or how it should go, with tons of brilliant writers, European, American, otherwise, to invest in. They've done no research. They're like, oh, you know what my big insight is? Let's try to understand each other. How? I don't know. Let's just listen. Let's just listen to each other. How about we just listen and smile? And what this ends up producing every time is a bunch of people who say whatever they think, and they don't have to be responsible for shoring it up with evidence, explaining how their evidence proves their claim, or answering counter arguments. And so they continue to feel good about their incredibly bad ideas. And that's what Braver Angels pushes. That's what they want. They want everyone to be able to say whatever horrific idea they have about politics or the world, and everyone clap and say, you're so brave for sharing your horrific ideas with no evidence behind them. Let's go to lunch together and smile and be happy. In our communities, we engage those we disagree with, looking for common ground and ways to work together. Hey, I know that you want to murder my trans and autistic children, but I think we can still find ways to work together. Yeah, I'm sure that would be no. Oh, you think I don't deserve rights because I'm non-binary? I'm sure we can find a way to work together under the banner of diversity. Give me a break. What the hell? Complacent angels, right? They just want peace at any cost. Peace. They don't like the fighting. They don't like people yelling at each other. The solution, if you don't like the fighting, if you don't like the bad discourse, the solution is teach people how to debate. That's the solution. There are thousands of textbooks. Some of them, pretty bad, but there are thousands of textbooks out there and articles you could use. Terrible. In politics, we support principles that bring us together rather than divide us. What? I'm sorry, but principles govern the action that you think is best to take. Principles serve as a baseline for a policy claim, generally, about what should be done. Sometimes that's going to divide us. It's just bad. This whole thing is bad. We envision an America with respectful embrace of political disagreements where civic friendship flourishes and competing perspectives strengthen our nation. So we're all supposed to be friends, even if the other side doesn't think I deserve rights or that slavery wasn't that bad. These are political positions I'm sure that people hold at this organization. What are you going to do about these? It wasn't so bad. Slaves got to sing and read books sometimes. Embracing values of respect, humility, honesty, and responsible citizenship. Okay, these are cool values, actually. Respect, but what does that mean? Humility, I like that. Humility is but participating in a debate will humble you real fast, folks. My life is a testament to that. Honesty, I think that's like representing the argument the best way you can, perhaps. And responsible citizenship, I don't know what that is. Responsible citizenship, I have a weird take on this. I think responsible citizenship is the idea of being a rhetorical citizen. That means your loyalty is not to the country or to the government or to the two-party system or whatever nonsense Braver Angels thinks it is, but loyalty to the art of constructing good and reasonable arguments based on evidence that you can then adapt to the needs of the audiences you face. That is what responsible citizenship is. A responsibility to the commonplace, responsibility to good argument. But this is all just kind of like, all this language this is language for the grant givers. They're excited to this is like the fallacy of equivocation. They can't define these terms, and they don't want to, because it brings a bunch of people in who are going to pay them. That's what it is. Our goal is not to change people's views of issues. Okay, there it is right there. Then what's the point? What's the point of living in democracy if you don't want to change people's views? The whole goal is to change people. Here's the view you should have. Here's why you should have it. I respect you. This is the opposite of Douglas Enninger's great essay. I should probably bring that up, because well, I was going to show this PowerPoint tonight, but I guess I won't. This is more of the podcast anyway. We're almost out of time already. My God, how did it take so long? How did I take so long? But I got to eviscerate the complacent angels. Oh, the bravery angel's way. Is this a poem? We state our views freely and fully without fear. Okay, that's kind of foolish. I mean, sometimes it's good to offer the rhetorical angle of fearfulness. I think it's quite good. I'm afraid to share these stories with you. I'm afraid for what you might do to me, but I have to share them. I mean, that's a great rhetorical framing for an issue that you want people behind you on. And also, why would I share my views if I'm not supposed to change people's minds? What would be my motive? Why would I ever want to do that? Just to feel good about myself? I think trans people don't deserve rights. And then everybody at the Bravery Angels collapse. They're like, oh, you're so brave? What in the actual fuck? I mean, sorry, but that's pretty ridiculous. We treat people who disagree with us with honesty, dignity, and respect. Well, I mean, you treat the audience that way, but if somebody disagrees with you, you might say, look, they're not treating people with dignity. Sometimes they don't deserve dignity. Do I respect their arguments? Well, if they're evidence-based and reasonable. But all these things are pieces that can move in argument and debate. We welcome opportunities to engage those with whom we disagree. I agree with that one. But, there has to always be on agreement. And the most important thing is, which I doubt Bravery Angels does, is you have to frame a proper motion. If you don't have a proper motion, you can't have a productive, good debate where you get something out of it. And that something out of it might be like, oh, crap, I'm really been humbled by these people. I don't really know what the hell I'm doing. That's a great outcome. We believe all of us have blind spots and none of us are not worth talking to. Well, there's some people, I kind of agree with this one. Actually, I need to make this bigger, huh? Yeah, I actually agree with this. They're not worth talking to. This is a good one because there are some people who aren't worth talking to. But the way that Chaim Perlman and Lucy Ulbricht-Titica talk about in their book, The New Rhetoric, a treatise on argument that neither them nor C-SPAN, nor the next person I'm going to talk about, Jefferson Fisher, have even heard about, is that you can't dismiss, you can only dismiss some percentage of the audience before you just become kind of a philosopher and you're like, I don't care what you think, I'm right, which is the way philosophical discourse often is. It's like you got to speak in this language, and you got to speak in this particular way, and all that. If the audience disagrees, they just need more time to accept the truth. That's the way philosophers talk. But there are some of us who are not worth talking to, but it's a very, very small number. And all of us have blind spots, of course, but I think it's a weird way to talk about it in terms of vision or the visual. I think it's like understanding is a very complex phenomenon involving the mind, the symbol system of society, namely language, the big other, and also cultural things, your upbringing, your material situation, your material wealth, can foreclose a lot of opportunities. And debate brings those out. I've seen students really get shocked into realizing that they are wealthy through debate, and they don't have a language for how to deal with that, and they don't feel great about it. I've also seen students really struggle with not being very good at debate, and they've been told they're really smart and excellent their whole life. That's really the beautiful kind of blind spots that debate reveals. We seek to disagree accurately, avoiding exaggeration and stereotypes. I think it's a very funny one. Like, is this what people do when they disagree? I mean, most of the time people are using we're not a very evidence-driven culture. We worship science. We're like very science-obsessed in the United States right now. In May of 2025, when I'm recording this episode, we're very, very science-obsessed, but we're not very evidence-savvy, and we're not very interested in doing the work to find evidence. We don't want to go and read the 3 or 4 things, right? But I think for Bravery Angels, it's like, that's okay, as long as you don't exaggerate. Well, people are always going to talk from their point of view and what they've read and what they've seen. I don't think that this is a strategy that happens. And stereotypes, what's a stereotype other than what somebody will say? Well, that's how those people are. So it's easy to say, but how do you train? Where's the rhetorical training that Bravery Angels gives? You can't just go in there and do it. We look for common ground where it exists and possible to find ways to work together. On what? Debate is a cooperative project. Actually, Kenneth Burke talks about war is cooperative too. So finding ways to work together is not hard. It's the quality of what you want to do together is the thing. I think debate is a wonderful way to work together and find humility and gaps and idiotic statements and be like, Jesus, we really need to read a lot more. We believe that in disagreements, both sides share and learn. Not in disagreements, no. I think a lot of times in disagreements you get people act like they're zero-sum games, so you can have a loss-loss. Both sides walk away. They don't share and learn. This could be an outcome. This would be a win-win. But that's a rare outcome. It's one of 4 outcomes you can have in a zero-sum game. Win-win, win-lose, lose-win, or lose-lose. I think most of the time you get a lose-lose in disagreements because they're not structured. Everybody can speak however they want. There's no agreed rule on evidence. There's no agreed rule on when one has to withdraw a claim and when it can't be supported anymore. And in Bravery Angels, neither side is teaching the other or giving feedback on how to think or say things differently. What in the hell?
Is that your best?
I mean, that's really bad, folks. In Buddhism, they say everyone you meet is your teacher. Everyone you meet. And I think it's great debate advice. You think of everyone you meet and interact with as your teacher, fantastic debate advice. But neither side is teaching the other, giving feedback on how to think or say things differently. You're missing out on rhetoric. This is the rhetorical product because you have to learn how to say things differently because people are different. And if you believe in diversity, you have to be able to speak to diverse audiences. Unless you want a monoculture or you want to exclude huge amounts of diverse audiences from civic discourse. But we're always teaching each other. And we're always giving feedback on how to say things differently. That's the beauty of it. Somebody might not think that what they're saying is that controversial. They need that feedback to learn that what they've said is highly controversial, inappropriate. Anyway, I don't understand the popularity of this terrible organization. Maybe somebody can explain it to me. All we really need is good debate, education. That's really all we need. And this is the stuff I was thinking about after spending the weekend up there at U of R. Bravery Angels is a huge affront to that. C-SPAN is now joined. I can't believe it. I love you, C-SPAN, so much. I can't believe that you've decided to take on this incorrect, vacuous, uneducated, unevidenced, unresearched, unthinking definition of debate. It's embarrassing that you think debate is a communication failure. It's not. It improves. Anyone who's studied debate and practiced it will tell you one thing altogether. It's improved their communication. One last thing before I say goodnight. I want to thank the fine people at who the hell published this thing? Oh, Penguin Random House. Well, they'll probably never give me a contract after what I'm about to say. Penguin Random House published Jefferson Fisher. He's the TikTok attorney who gives the debate advice from his car. God, I saw him. I was like, oh, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. Well, apparently Random House thinks he does. They may have him pick this book. Now, it's a typical kind of book. No footnotes, no evidence, anything. It's written at the Walmart grandma font size. And it's a lot of bullet points and a lot of repetition. And it's an absolutely atrocious book. I'm going to do a whole video on why this book is extraordinarily bad. But you can see why it is. Argue less, talk more. Why do people think argument and debate are failures of communication? Because we don't teach in school or anywhere how to argue and debate properly. We don't teach it. We don't teach people how to form a argument that will reach people. We don't teach people how to evaluate evidence. This should be basic stuff. There's one example of a bunch of people who got it, and that was that shooting in Florida, the Parkland High School. Those students all had debate as part of the curriculum. You could see how it allowed them to engage in civic discourse in a powerful way as advocates for what happened at their school against gun violence. Powerful stuff. I would want everybody in America to have this ability. It would be fantastic. But what Jefferson Fisher wants is he wants to show you that he's an amazing personal injury attorney and how awesome he is at manipulating people into saying what he wants. And then he also wants you to it's nonsensical, the things that he asks you to do. Why not just learn how to argue and debate more? But he thinks, like a lot of attorneys think, that arguments can only be had in a courtroom because there's so many rules and guidance there, and there's a judge. And if you do that outside, you're going to risk hurting somebody's feelings. Bad news. But the problem is he doesn't have any definition of argument or debate in there. And all of his examples are interpersonal. I think it's a problem with Braver Angels, too. I think they're really talking about interpersonal conflict. I don't think they're talking about civic engagement at all. How to solve interpersonal conflict and argument, which I'm not interested in. But anyway, that brings us to the end of the episode. I had more stuff planned. I had a PowerPoint for you, but I think I'm just going to have to do it as a YouTube video. Like a YouTube video of basic debate, what you need to have a debate. But I also want to do a video about why YouTube debates between YouTubers are so bad and how Oxford Union should know better. But all this is coming up. We got the whole summer ahead of us, folks. Summer, baby. Yeah, I can just make YouTube videos. Anyway, In the Bin is a production of International Debate Research Associates, LLC, solely and totally responsible for all the content you hear. Please email me. I'll put it back up on the screen here. Where is it? Stream ending. Well, this is for my other show. Where's my other ending? Oh, yeah. inthebinpodcast@gmail.com. We love your comments. In the Bin is available on Spotify, Radio Public, Amazon, podcast, everything. Please email me inthebinpodcast@gmail.com, or you can also support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/inthebinpodcast. If you want to support us financially but don't feel like you have to, goodbye, everybody. See you in the next episode.